The Fae are overdone. We don't need any more counters regarding the Fae, is something that I don't think I'll ever hear, because the Fae are so unique and so amazing. They make for some of the best encounters, campaigns, and ways to play our game, because things work differently in the Feywild, and the Fae value things differently than we do. And it's so much fun because the Fae can be whatever you want them to be. So let's talk about a couple of amazing Fae encounters and ideas to help inspire you. And then I would like for you to share below what Fae encounters have changed your thought process on Dungeons & Dragons, or ones that you want to see. The Echoing Glade is one of my favorite of all the Fae encounters, because it's a glade where sound is not allowed. The glade is actually protected by blind but adept people at hearing. You're not allowed to speak inside of it. But to get something out of the glade, you need to make a noise, which brings on the guards. This is just one way of doing the Echoing Glade, but the bottom line is the whole concept behind the Echoing Glade is somewhere in the Feywild, in the Fey world, you have a glade that silence is key, where saying nothing is important. If you make a sound, if you speak, if any noise comes from you, you have a problem, which means magic users that have verbal components have a problem. Silent spell becomes more important. What are the complications of when you do make a sound? What actually happens to you? There's so many things you can do with the Echoing Glade when the silence is broken. How would you do this? How would you use the Echoing Glade? What would the consequences be in your game if you did a game where no one was allowed to speak or make a sound? Another Fae story that I would love to see is the Fay Collector. This Fay Collector is unique though, because they collect emotions from people. The thing is that in these emotions that they collect becomes either a figure or something that fills a vial, which then that Fay Collector can feel by holding the vial or holding the gem. But the person that gives up that emotion can no longer feel that emotion. Now, the Fay Collector could be asking for, number one, the players to give up an emotion, or they could be asking for an emotion from a specific person that the players have to go steal it from. And the reason this works is because the players need something from the Fay Collector. So does a player willingly give up an emotion for the rest of the campaign to get what they need, or do they go collect it from someone else? How would you use this? The Fay Collector is a Fay creature that collects emotions, states, or something that takes something away from someone permanently. How would you institute this? I love this concept and have never seen it done. Another Fay encounter I loved is the shifting pool, or the reflection pool. The reflection pool is simply a pool of water that has access to the Feywild. It can give you anything that's anywhere in the Feywild. It can steal it from someone else, it can give it to you. But if it's in the realm of the Fae, the reflection pool can hand it to you, rising it out of the lake. But to do so, you have to give up part of your being. What that means depends on you. You can be as nice as, taking away your ability to speak, to see, maybe taking away a level, a spell, an emotion, a memory. There's so many things that you can do with this, but it's another one of those things where I have to give something to receive something. And maybe there's something the party needs that only the reflecting pool can give them. I love this idea, but the question is, who protects the reflecting pool, and what creatures are there to stop you? Or is no one there to stop you because it takes away part of you and then draws you back for more? How would you use this idea in your campaigns? How would you change the reflecting pool to actually be useful for your stories? The shifting season is another one of my favorite Fae ones. In the Feywild, the seasons change violently, from summer to winter to fall to spring to storms to snow. The idea is that weather is changing dramatically. This allows for you to play with weather in a way that's isolated, meaning you can go from hot to cold to wind to summer to spring to fall to falling of the leaves to sprouting things in such a way where you can have plant life grow. You can be covered in rain and fog and a minute's notice to being covered in snow, allowing you to use all weather effects in an isolated area to create some amazing encounters. But I'm curious how you would use the shifting glade in your campaigns. Or do you not like the idea of extreme weather at all sides, at all points of time? So guys, this was a couple of ways that I love using Fae encounters. The thing is, I don't know if you noticed this, none of this is about Fae creatures. What we're talking about is the unique way the Fae world works. Because the Fae world is so unique in its approach and its rules, everything functions differently. So therefore you can make some amazing things that don't work like the normal world, allowing you to expand, to have magical encounters that aren't just related to combat or, well, characters or NPCs or dialogue. Things can be the object that you have to deal with when it comes to Fae encounters.